Hi, I am Nidhi, and let's continue reading this book. You Got This by Gianna Mago and move to the chapter number 2, How to Manage Overthinking. While overthinking, the mind goes through various scenarios, both actual and imaginary, over long periods of time. Your focus and concentration go for a toss, and you find yourself losing track of time once you get caught in this vicious cycle. Overthinking does not lead to a solution of any kind. If uncontrolled, it can sap your mental and physical energy, whereby you find it difficult to focus on anything of substance. As a result, your study, work, and other daily activities can get hampered if this tendency is not managed properly. Research has shown that overthinking is associated with feelings of depression, anxiety, and post traumatic stress disorder (PTSD) issues which also need to be looked into and treated at the earliest to avoid complications in the future. Signs of overthinking. Before we get into how to manage overthinking, let us look into the signs that you may be overthinking. An inability to think about anything else. When you overthink, it occupies a major part of your mind space, making it extremely difficult to focus on anything else, as a result of which your daily tasks suffer. Being unable to relax. The constant swirling of thoughts in your mind will mean that you are constantly feeling worried or anxious and will be unable to relax. Rest and recuperation are indispensable parts of life and ensure that you are fresh and alert to take on the next day. If your rest is inadequate over a long period of time, your productivity and focus will show a marked decline. Feeling mentally exhausted. The uncontrolled stream of negative thoughts is debilitating, and if unlocked and if unchecked can lead to mental fatigue, which in turn can result in burnout. Your thoughts have a manifestation on your physical well-being as well, and such mental exhaustion can at times leave you feeling physically unwell. Fixating on things outside of your control. There are some things that are out of our control, such as what happened in the past and what will happen in the future. If what is in your control is right now, the present. When overthinking takes over control, you will excessively fixate over anxieties of the past and worries about the future, which will lead to you being distracted in the present. This is not helpful as it leads to you becoming unproductive and also results in a decrease in quality and quantity of work output. Having lots of negative thoughts. Most of the time, overthinking involves having an abundance of negative thoughts. Because of this, you keep on replaying negative situations or experiences in your mind, which can result in loss of confidence and self esteem. In this negative state of mind, you constantly doubt yourself and second guess your decisions. You may also lose hope and imagine and stimulate all the worst case scenarios in your mind. Reasons behind overthinking. So, why do we overthink? There are myriad of reasons behind this. Let us unpack a few of them. Perfectionism. In an ideal world, we would all love to be perfect. But in reality, this is hardly the case. We all have our shortcomings and strengths. As you attempt to control every small detail and outcome of your life, you may get caught up in thinking about things that you cannot control and are outside your power. And this can snowball into an endless cycle of wasteful thoughts and energy. Once you break free from this vicious cycle, you will realize that perfectionism is actually unrealistic and impracticable. Low self esteem and negative thought patterns. If you have low self esteem and diminished self worth, you may be more prone to overthinking. Your habit of ruminating may get reinforced in case you have experienced, say, some kind of trauma which has not been resolved, which can cause problems years after the initial traumatic event took place. Excessive stress. Stress is an unpleasant emotion to experience. When you are experiencing it, your body gets tense and your mind goes on an overdrive. When you are under stress, your body and mind are under duress, which has a direct impact on your thoughts, both conscious and subconscious. Uncertainty about the future. There may be times when your future may seem bleak or uncertain. Lack of clarity on the events of the coming days is also cause of overthinking. Lack of activity. An empty mind is the devil's workshop. This statement has remained relevant ever since humans came into existence. Our brain is like a muscle which should be exercised regularly to keep it fit, active, and in good working condition. When you do not have anything constructive to do, it leads to your brain going into unproductive tangents, which, if unchecked, can lead to overthinking. So, it is imperative that you keep yourself both mentally and physically active to keep your mind in control and keep overthinking at bay for as long as possible. Procrastination. While the person indulging in procrastination may relax for some time, when the due date for completion of that activity comes close, they will experience an increase in stress and regret as to why they did not begin working on the task beforehand when they had sufficient time on their hands. Procrastination can adversely affect your output and productivity if it is not dealt with early on. Once procrastination becomes deeply ingrained in you, it is extremely difficult to hit the reset button and start afresh. So, this brings us to the most important question of all: how to overcome overthinking? How to manage overthinking? Let us discuss the ways to deal with overthinking. Take a step back to observe your thoughts. Take stock of how you react to your thoughts. How do they affect you mentally, physically, and emotionally? Do your thoughts make you feel irritated, weak, or guilty? To do so requires having a good level of self awareness. Thinking is not totally an unconscious act and it is something that we can control to a significant extent. You should be aware of your normal state of mind and how you think and react then. That should be on the basis on which everything else should be compared. Make a note of how your body feels when you are in a good state of mind. Usually, your shoulders will be relaxed and your breath will be normal. Your heartbeat will also be within normal parameters. You will find a sense of calm and self assurance and be confident what be confident that you will be able to handle most of the things that come your way with relative ease. However, when you are in an agitated state of mind, Your breath will be shallow, and your body, especially your shoulders, will be tight and tense, and you may experience dryness in your mouth and a sick feeling in the pit of your stomach, not to mention a quicker heartbeat. Once you notice that you are experiencing such symptoms, you should be able to take remedial actions to prevent serious health issues. Do not take drastic and life altering decisions. When we are in an agitated state of mind, we are not our normal self. Hence, our thought process will also be affected. So, in this disturbed state of mind, you should not take drastic life altering decisions which will affect your life and those around you in the long term. You must realize that while the moment may be debilitating, this stress shall pass. Life is full of ups and downs. While it is easy to get swayed by the constant pendulum shift to our fortunes, you must realize that this too shall pass. It is temporary. While the bad times naturally will seem to be lasting longer than the good ones, it must be kept in mind that such favorable times will come back sooner or later. During challenging times, try to perceive and remember the times in your life when you overcame problems and emerged successful. Such recalling of previous successes will reinvigorate you and boost your self confidence, which will most definitely help you to face your present challenge with renewed enthusiasm, vigor, and gusto. Find a distraction. When you realize that you are overthinking, it is important that you break the vicious cycle of unproductive thoughts as soon as possible before it gets out of hand. To do so, involve yourself in some kind of activity, such as get into an exercise or workout routine. This diverts your attention from your thoughts towards the physical activity. Research has stated that taking part in regular physical activity increases blood flow to the brain, which in turn improves mood regulation, concentration, and productivity. In the long run, exercise can potentially act as a natural antidepressant. After the workout, you will notice that you will feel better both in body and mind. Learn a new skill or sharpen an existing skill. Learning a new skill such as cooking or painting will help you divert your mind when overthinking and will also be beneficial in the long term. Cooking is an important life skill, and everyone, irrespective of gender, must ideally know their way around the kitchen to cook a decent meal for themselves when the need arises. If you already are someone who is a wizard in the kitchen, try to learn some new recipes to add to your repertoire, which will help in impressing your family and friends. Volunteer in a local organization. Volunteering in a local organization such as Rotaract Club will help you meet new people and gain a fresh perspective on life. Life can become boring and monotonous at home. Additionally, there is a greater chance of overthinking taking place if you are constantly within the four walls of your home. It is important to step out of the comfort zone of your home and into the world. Once you do that, your mind will get diverted, and when you return home, you will feel reinvigorated. Practice meditation and deep breathing. Meditation is a practice of focusing one's mind for a period of time, noticing but not engaging with thoughts. While doing such an activity, you will notice that loads of thoughts keep coming into your mind, having the potential to distract you. It requires consistent practice to bring back your attention to a single thought by ignoring the ones that are trying to vie for your attention. While it may be frustrating initially, meditation and deep breathing are said to have incredible benefits for body, mind, and soul in the long term. So, do something nice for someone. When you do something nice for someone, it makes you feel at peace. You can help someone you know or take part in charitable activities to help the poor and needy. However, when doing so, ensure that you do adequate background research on the person or organization needing the help and are convinced that the requirement is genuine and that your efforts or funds reach those in genuine need. Ask for professional help. There is no shame in consulting a mental health professional as they are medically trained and know how to deal with various mental health issues and hence can give practical solutions which untrained people may not be aware of. The brain at times may not be functioning to the best of its ability. In this scenario, a mental health professional will know exactly what needs to be done. However, when consulting such a professional, you need to ensure that they are genuine. Do the requisite background checks to satisfy yourself of their credentials. There are thousands of mental health influencers who post and comment about mental health. However, many of them do not have the professional degree or the training to treat mental health problems. So, keep this in mind before you select a mental health professional you would like to consult. To conclude, you must keep in mind that as long as you are alive, you will have thoughts. It is impossible to stop them. However, you can decide which thoughts you want to give more attention to. Over time and with consistent and dedicated practice, you will pay attention to the thoughts that are truly important while ignoring the ones that you know are unproductive. The journey may be long and wide and winding, but you will surely get there by taking one step at a time. Guys, this was the chapter 2. Meet you in the next chapter, chapter number 3. Stay connected. Bye bye.